right, well, we're getting the slides up. My name is Becky DeStigter. I'm a returnee from the Netherlands, 1987-88. Woo! I'm a host mom currently and in the past. Also a sending mom. My daughter went to China last summer with AFS. And this is my 8th year as an AFS volunteer, a role I'm very proud of. So, my talk is about energizing your local team, and I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be here because you are my tribe. And I look around this room and I know that you feel the same passion for our mission that I feel. So the reason why I decided to offer up this talk was because of the Colorado Rockies area team. And I worked with the Colorado Rockies for 7 of my 8 years. And a couple of years ago, we hit a crisis. We had a very tough support year, lots of support cases. We had one very nasty support case, and you guys know what I'm talking about. We had some key volunteers who left, and we actually had the conversation around, should we fold? So we had a couple choices. First choice, we could fold. Second choice, we could lower expectations of ourselves and our numbers. And the third choice was we could pivot and we could decide to grow, think strategically, and make ourselves into something else. We chose option number 3. So, I'm gonna have to click over here. Okay, so let's start with vision. I'd like everybody to close your eyes, please. And I'd like you to think about your team, whether it's your volunteer team or your staff team. Think about what would you like that team to look like in 5 years. And sure, I want you to think about numbers, like sending numbers, hosting numbers, but I want you to think also about how does it feel to be in that team? How does that team interact with its neighboring teams? How does it interact with its community? What is the idealized version of what you're doing 5 years out? Okay, you can open your eyes. So strategy is an intended plan to get to your vision. So your vision needs to be, your strategy needs to be scalable. If your vision was to stay the same, I gotta tell you, nobody's coming to help you. Nobody. They're gonna run for the hills. People are attracted to growth and to something that inspires them. You need to think about your team and how, are there impediments today in your way to growing? It needs to be sustainable. It can't be dependent on one person or one relationship with a school. We need to leverage what we have, and I mean everything. The connections that our volunteers have, AFS-USA resources, our hosted students, everything. And finally, we need to prepare for the unexpected, because we know here in AFS that the unexpected will happen. We know there will be students moved next year. We know that there will be support cases. So we need to plan with those things in mind. So what do we need to do to get there? I don't know if you guys noticed the Dutch flag in there. I had to put it in somewhere. We need to think about what are the missing resources between what we have today and what we need. And this happens a lot in AFS. I think that we need to think seriously about our volunteer development, our volunteer recruitment. And the 3 things that I hear most from AFS teams are, first, we don't have enough volunteers. Second, we don't have enough host families. And the third thing I hear is, we don't have enough volunteers who want to be leaders. So I have a couple ideas for you guys. So we'll just tick them off. The first is about we don't have enough volunteers. And that is, do you have somebody on your team who's actually a recruiter or an HR professional, somebody who does this for a living? And what would happen if you purposely went out and recruited that person to our ranks? I mean, think about our mission. We work towards world peace. It's not a hard sell. So think about that. Second is host families. Think about marketing people, sales people who do this for a living. That's another great group to tap. And third is the leadership gap. And I think as an organization, we've always gone from grassroots up. What happens if we approach our local teams going down? What happens if we put together an advisory council for our teams? Go out and recruit community leaders who care about our mission to spend a couple hours every couple months getting together and looking at what we're doing. Give us suggestions, and also to suggest their own proteges and their own people in the community they know who are looking for leadership opportunities, chances to practice their leadership skills. I came across this definition of leadership about 5 years ago, and it now affects every relationship I have in my family, with my friends, and definitely with fellow AFS volunteers. Leadership is managing your own energy and the energy in others. Think about what in AFS gives you energy. Is it working with the students? Is it working with volunteers? Is it learning new things? And those tasks that take away your energy, can those tasks be split up and spread around so it doesn't overburden one person? And then how do you give energy to others in your team? So one of the ways that I think we give energy is when we talk about our successes, our stories, the things that are funny, the things that are inspiring within our own ranks. Another thing we do is we come up with mantras. One of my mantras is onward and upward. If you get an email from me in AFS, at the end it always says onward and upward. I do this because it applies to two different situations. One is when it's been hard and difficult situation, onward and upward. And when it's gone well, onward and upward, because that's the direction we're headed. I think it's very important for us to set our volunteer expectations from the get-go. I've noticed in AFS sometimes we let bad behavior slide. So if you can't fill out the monthly report as a liaison, we don't want you to be our liaison. If you are the person who, or not you, nobody in this room, but those in your team, hopefully not, who exhibit some toxic behaviors, the person that drains everybody's energy out, you know what I'm talking about. It's okay to tell that person that that's not okay, or to make sure that they're not having a major leadership position that's affecting other people and draining people out. So setting expectation with volunteers is okay, and it helps to set energy in some of the right directions. So when you're AFS, your family, and we take care of our own. I say this a lot. But when I say that, volunteers are our family. Our staff, for whom this is so much more than a job, our staff is our family. Our host families, our sending families, and all of our students are family. We're a fun family, we're a dysfunctional family occasionally, but we're all family. And that context helps to put things in perspective, especially when you have that hard support case, or that difficult situation, or we're trying to place that last couple of students in the hosting cycle. I think it's important for us to remember who we are. I don't know if you've watched any beauty contests lately, but all the contestants, they want world peace. and that's great. I mean, it's an easy one. I mean, who wants the opposite, right? But we actually work towards world peace every day. That's what we do. And I'm very proud of it. I know everybody in this room is proud as well. I'd like to tell you a story from my AFS year, one of the moments that really transformed me. I had been an exchange student for a month. I was 17 years old in the Netherlands, and my host family took me to the aunt's house for a garden party. And my Dutch was very bad, and I could understand about every fifth word as everyone was talking. And there was only one person at the party I could understand. He was about 25 years old. His name was Amy, and Amy was cognitively delayed. He spoke in short, simple sentences, easy vocabulary. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're the one guy here I can understand. So for the next 2 hours, I followed Amy around like a puppy dog, peppering him with questions. What's this? How do you say that? This is the ball. How do you say that part? It's like, bro. So it was a great experience for me because afterwards I thought, wow, what just happened here? All the expectations I had about what intelligence was, thrown out the window. What I learned that day was you can learn something from everyone you encounter. And he's a genius. He was my genius. And I'm really grateful for that day. So go forth and make great teams. Onward and upward.